Hey everyone, I'm Dinosaur, and today we're talking about Altergeist. Altergeist is an archetype of Spellcaster monsters that was used by Emma, or Ghost Gal, in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. All of the monsters are based on mythical creatures, but with cybernetic features to enhance their design. And of course, Altergeist is a play on the word poltergeist, with alter referencing those cybernetic features. Their duel style is based around trap cards, which can make them feel a little bit slow, but that's just because it takes a trap card to really get the engine started. Without the trap cards, they do still have limited interruptions, but they start to then rely a lot more on their extra deck monsters, which are also very good. Before their extended TCG support, the joke that my playgroup all came up with was their boss monster was a relinquished anima, pointing to the downward arrow of a Link Karibo, which was a board that you could actually make at some points, and wasn't entirely useless, but that it is just funny that that's what it sort of did. But now with the new support, they have some serious link climbing capabilities and some really cool OTK potential. So let's go check these digital spellcasters out. Altergeist Multifaker is of course the engine's best starter. On the resolution of you activating a trap card, so starting a new chain, you can special summon her, and when she is special summoned, you can special summon another Altergeist monster from your deck. Of course, this does lock you into Altergeist monsters for the rest of the turn. Altergeist Duelist is the most common multi-faker target. She's a bounce on the field by returning another Altergeist card you control, so yes, you can return a continuous trap from your field in order to activate this effect. If she's sent to the graveyard, you get to return an Altergeist trap from your graveyard to your hand as well. A common combo with this is to use Altergeist Manifestation to reborn Silquidus and then recur the manifestation when she's sent to the graveyard. Altergeist Meluseek is another extremely important card for the deck. Not only can she attack directly, but when she inflicts that damage, you can send one of your opponent's cards to the graveyard. When she is sent to the graveyard, you get to search an Altergeist monster and add it to your hand. On top of all of this, she's a level 1 monster, meaning the deck has easy access to cards like Link Karibo, which is now banned, Relinquished Anima, and even Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Altergeist Marionetter is the most popular normal summon. This is because her effect to set an Altergeist trap only works on normal summon. Of course, there are reasons to special summon her, like her second effect to switch a card on your field with an Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Altergeist Puqueri is another level 1 monster, but is not often on the field, as she can be used from your hand in order to link summon an Altergeist. This effect is pretty unique and can be used multiple times throughout the duel if you can recycle her other than her own effect, which is only once per duel. Being a level 1 is of course a bonus if you can utilize it, such as 1 for 1 in using her as link material twice in one turn, 1 from the field and once from the hand. Altergeist Fiji Alert is a card that made its way into my worst cards of my top 10 favorite archetypes video. I'll link that here for you to go watch. This card allows for some interesting off-archetype plays, but is often just not worth it, so she doesn't tend to see much play. Altergeist Pixiel is yet another level 1 monster, so making use of 1 for 1 and tributing her to excavate the top 3 cards and add an Altergeist card from among them to your hand can be really good. However, like Fiji Alert, just doesn't tend to be worth it, and she doesn't see much play either. Altergeist Fifinalag is, again, another monster that doesn't see much play, but is actually pretty good. She protects the rest of your Altergeist monsters from battle, and your opponent cannot target them with card effects either, including herself. So this does actually make her a very viable pick for the current format where Ryzeal is running rampant. Altergeist Conqueri is a level 5 monster, which is our first that cannot be normal summoned without tributing another. She is an attack negate, and when she's summoned, negates an opponent's face-up card. Her effect special summons herself from the hand, so she isn't often summoned in other ways, but does tend to see play in decks because of this effect. Altergeist Paratrader is a part of our newer support with Duelist Nexus. Yet another level 1 monster, she is similar to Meluseek with being able to attack directly, but drawing you a card instead. When she is sent to the graveyard, you get to send one Altergeist card from your hand, deck, or even face-up field to the graveyard. Being a fire monster on top of this gave the deck an opportunity to play the Snake Eye engine until original Sinful Spoils, Snake Eye, got banned. Additionally from our newer support is Altergeist Melwisp, in my opinion the best card in the deck. When she is added to the hand, you can special summon her, and when she's special summoned, she reborns an Altergeist monster. That monster isn't negated, but just cannot activate its effects this turn. On top of generating link material for you, she is also a tuner monster, which is only relevant now because of what she does for the deck, and allowing Dragviren as a very viable endboard piece. Now that we've talked about the main deck monsters, we can dive into the extra deck. These monsters tend to be used more so for OTK lines, but also to bring the control aspect of the deck out a little bit more with, say, spell trap negates, and also taking control of your opponent's monsters and using those monsters against your opponent in only ways that this deck can achieve. We'll kick off with Altergeist Hextia. Hextia is the most often summoned extra deck monster as she is only a Link 2 and is a spell trap negate while on the field as well. When she's sent to the graveyard, you get to search any Altergeist card from your deck too, making her very useful as Link material. It's not uncommon to use her as material for a second copy of her just to get the search and still have the spell trap negate live. Our other Link 2 is Kadolga. Kadolga often sees the cut to make extra room in the extra deck, but is actually a pretty good card, just difficult to utilize. When a monster inflicts damage, you get to special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard to a zone it points to, and if she's sent to the graveyard, you can add something from your graveyard to your hand. Altergeist Pram Banshee is our Link 3. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you can tribute one other Altergeist monster to special summon one from your deck to a zone she points to. Then, of course, the same stipulation as Kadolga to add an Altergeist card from your graveyard to your hand when she is sent there. Altergeist Memory Gant is our original OTK monster. You get to tribute another Altergeist monster in order to increase her attack by the tributed monsters, and when she destroys an opponent's monster in battle, you get to destroy another monster your opponent controls, then attack again. If she'd be destroyed, you can use her replacement effect to banish any monster from your graveyard instead. Altergeist Adminia is our Link 4 and easily our best extra deck monster. When she is Link summoned, you get to set an Altergeist trap directly from your deck, and once while she's on the field, you can send one card you control to the graveyard, then take control of an effect monster your opponent controls, then it's treated as an Altergeist monster on top of that. Finally, for the extra deck, we have Dragviren. Dragviren is the only synchro monster that the deck has, and is also the only non-feminine appearing Altergeist monster. It is an attack negate when your opponent's special summon monster attacks, but that's not why Malwisp makes this card good. The second effect is what really gives some serious potential to Prime Banshee and Memory Gant. Being able to use it as a tribute, then return it to the field immediately is just incredible. Unfortunately, this doesn't work for Adminia, but it is still good to have nonetheless. So that's it for the Altergeist monsters. But of course, there's trap cards that they have to have in order to be a playable deck, right? I mean, Multifaker has to activate her effect off of something. So let's jump into what they have to see how and why they help the deck. Starting off with Altergeist Protocol, one of our continuous trap cards. This card protects your Altergeist monster effects and activations on the field. It's also a monster effect negate, and it destroys that monster as well. Personal Spoofing is another important continuous trap. Unfortunately, it's not treated as an Altergeist card, so you have to hard open this in order to use it. Spoofing allows you to switch an Altergeist card in your hand or on the field with an Altergeist monster, and allows you to send Multifaker and get a new Multifaker as well. Altergeist Manifestation is a normal trap card that reborns an Altergeist monster from your graveyard and equips itself to that monster. You can also banish it from your graveyard to get back another Altergeist trap from your graveyard, even including another copy of Manifestation. Altergeist Failover is actually a card that was viewed as completely unplayable until Paratrader was released. Its on-field effect isn't amazing as it just lets you summon an Altergeist monster from your hand, but its graveyard effect is really good. You can banish it from your graveyard in order to return an Altergeist monster from your graveyard to your hand. Altergeist Revitalization is another trap that is amazing because of Paratrader. If it's activated on field, you get to special summon an Altergeist Link monster from your graveyard. A unique way to recycle Hextia or Prime Banshee, but you can also banish this card from your graveyard to gain an additional normal summon of an Altergeist monster. Emulet Elf is another card that was considered unplayable until recently with the addition of Silhouette Rabbit. Elf protects your Altergeist traps from destruction, and they can't be targeted by your opponent either. Counting as an Altergeist monster just means it can be used as additional material on a follow-up turn. Altergeist Camouflage reads like it could be a good card, but just doesn't actually do much. Similar to some of the main deck monsters, it just isn't worth the space in your deck, at least not for its effect on field. The graveyard effect can be useful, but it's just some protection and doesn't further your plays beyond that. Altergeist Haunted Rock is a trap negate and destroy, but you have to send an Altergeist monster from your hand to the graveyard in order to activate it and use its negate. The bonus of this card is that if it's set by an Altergeist effect, you can activate it the turn it was set, so Marionetter and Adminia can trigger that. So that's it for the Altergeist cards, but of course, like every archetype, they're going to need some generic support. The entire archetype is all Spellcaster monsters, so some Spellcaster support is in order, along with some generic trap cards like Floodgates. Of course, Altergeist can make use of cards like Skill Drain and Rivalry of Warlords. Rivalry because they're all the same type, and Skill Drain because of Altergeist Protocol saying they can't be negated on field. Lord of the Heavenly Prison is also a fun addition to Altergeist decks and allows for some funny interactions with your opponent. I said earlier in the video that the Snake Eye engine is a possibility and it was pretty cool when it was legal. I believe you can still do this combo in Master Duel however, so go give it a shot if you haven't. This even enhances your plays with Relinquished Anima. Secret Village of the Spellcasters and Metaverse is a classic Floodgate combo that also allows you to start your plays with Altergeist Multifaker. And Set Rotation is another way of that as well without the trap card activation though. We also can't forget Mystic Mine as much as we'd all like to. Torrential Tribute is another back row heavy way to start your plays. Waiting for the optimal point to blow up your opponent's monsters and then activate a Multifaker on resolution is just brutal. Of course, Altergeist tends to be a bit more combo heavy nowadays, and doesn't seem to play this card that often anymore. Another amazing card is an extra deck one, and that is Access Code Talker, as any link strategy can take advantage of. Same thing with any of the Charmers that you think is worth, as Altergeist has all of the attributes. All in all, I love this deck, and it was a pretty serious part of my competitive journey. If you're an Altergeist player, then you know that the only thing holding this deck back from being modern and meta viable is the absence of an Altergeist Link 1 monster. So maybe in the future, as, Marincess and even Trickstar just got some new support in Maze of the Master. So if you like this archetype, you have played it, want to see it played in the future, or maybe you just watched the anime and you liked Emma and what she did with her monsters in the show, then please drop a like in the comments and tell me what you think. And if you have a favorite archetype that I haven't covered on my channel yet, or even one that I have but you think I should have covered more about, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll do that in the future. Until next time, I've been Danosaur, and thanks for watching.